everyone. I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. We are going to be doing the Taurus March Tarotscope. So this is just going to be an overview of your energy, the energy to expect for the month of March, and any messages that your guides want to give to you. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. So keep in mind, these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements, because sometimes those will resonate more. And I do offer personal readings. You can get all that information in the description box. All right, Taurus. Let's see what messages are wanting to come through for you. Any messages from your guides, from your higher self. I'm hearing a message of be mindful. Be mindful of what you are holding on to right now, because everything that you hold on to, like if you're holding on to too much, it's making it, it's like everything's too crammed up. And so it's not making any space for any relief to show up. Like nothing can come in because like everything's being like held onto too tightly, or everything is crammed up, or nothing can be resolved because there's so much buildup or something like that. Like it could be like a relationship. Like unfortunately, it could be a relationship that there has just been so much resentment, pain, difficulty, whatever. There's been so much built up over time that like there's like no relief can even come in because there's so much built up. Let me see if there's any other clarity to that message, or any other messages that want to come through. Yeah, I feel like whatever you're dealing with, especially within your relationships with other people, it's in a space right now that there has to be a drastic change. Like this isn't something that you can try to adjust little things here and there. It honestly, it kind of feels like for some of you, you might be in a relationship that's kind of mirroring like a trauma bond, or you and this person, when you first started the relationship, it wasn't really built upon something stable. Like it was built upon a lie, or I'm not trying to like make it sound bad, but like it wasn't started in a good space. And it kind of, for some, it kind of feels like there was some kind of pain that was experienced in the relationship in the very beginning, um, that never really fully got resolved or talked about or dealt with. And it's like there has been so much built up with it within this relationship. And I think because it started on like a faulty start, or like during a period of like where there was like a lot of unresolved things. And so what you guys are giving back and forth, like you guys are just giving your trauma back and forth to each other. And it kind of feels like the relationship has become more of a, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you. Like there's no, and the interactions between you and this person, like there's no healthy interactions. Like nothing's getting resolved. And again, the biggest thing feels like because it wasn't started on the right type of foundation. Like when you guys started this relationship, there wasn't any trust, or it started like on the tail end of another relationship, or it started with some sort of like, third party kind of scandal. So it wasn't started in a good space to begin with. Like it has to be completely broken down and start from complete scratch. Obviously without ignoring all the problems, you know what I mean? I feel like that does have to be dealt with, but this doesn't feel like anything to approach lightly. Yeah. I hate this. I hate the terminology, but this, I feel like you're in a relationship that definitely was a lesson and not necessarily something that you were meant to grow and evolve with. Or even you both were not necessarily in the best of places when you started this relationship, and you've learned your lesson through this, but it's like it doesn't seem to be translating within the relationship. I feel like you also need to know that you do have a choice in this. You don't have to choose. I think that sometimes I think sometimes we believe that if somebody's our soulmate or somebody's our twin flame, or if that, we really love somebody, that you have to be loyal no matter what, but you're not meant to be choosing things that aren't healthy. If something's meant for you, it's going to come to you in a healthy space. You know what I mean? You don't owe anybody anything just because they're your soulmate, they're your twin flame. Okay, let's see how this energy is showing up for the month of March for you. You're showing up as King of Wands, which is really good energy, which is like leadership energy, ready to take charge, standing in a really powerful space. I also feel like it's like you're ready to make a pretty bold change. You're ready to kind of take charge of your life, but I feel like you might not necessarily be very clear on the direction that you want to go. I also feel like you might like the relationship that you're in, it's very like intense and it feels very powerful. But I feel like that intensity might be misinterpreted for the truth. It's like you're seeing the intensity of the connection, but not necessarily the truth of it. Intensity doesn't always mean meant to be. You know what I mean? This feels the way that it does because it triggers inner child wounds. Anything that triggers inner child wounds is going to give you the assumption that it's meant to be because it's going to feel familiar. It's going to feel like home. But if you have childhood trauma or trauma early on in your life, trauma will feel like home. I don't mean for this to be so heavy. It's like you've given this relationship so much authority over your life. You've made this commitment. You've made this promise. But you're not like in this relationship, like it's not even, it doesn't even seem like a partnership. There's you're fighting another entity, or you're fighting like there's another person involved, or um like you're not like there is no team, like you guys aren't working together because there's some outside interference. But I feel like you see the interference as like a challenge, like you've committed to. Oh, I'm so sorry. This reading is so heavy and I shouldn't be laughing. It's not funny. Yeah. Um I feel like with this connection, it again, it seems like it was started on a false foundation. Like you were dealing with somebody that was in a toxic relationship and they were having problems getting out of the relationship, or they had some sort of addiction and you were kind of like helping them work through their addiction, or they had trust issues. And so the focus was working through the trust issues, right? But the focus was from the beginning was never just the relationship between you and this person. There was some sort of barrier in between, or in, you know, in between the relationship, and you saw that barrier as a challenge that you were supposed to overcome because of how much intensity that you felt for this person, how much passion, how much love you feel for this person. But number one, if this person isn't doing anything about the barrier, and you know what I mean, like you're not it, you're fighting with the barrier and not even dealing with the relationship. But like once you commit, you commit. Once you make a promise, you make a promise. You don't want to back down from a promise or from a, you know, a commitment that you've made or from an agreement that you've made. But what you need to know is if the other person involved in the agreement isn't agreeing. Do you know what I mean? Like if you made a commitment to somebody but this person is not making that same commitment to you, then it makes the whole agreement null and void, and your constant commitment to it isn't benefiting anything. You know, it's not going to make, it just makes the relationship unbalanced. It makes it where you're in a relationship where you're actively working against each other, and this third party is just the scapegoat to avoid the real problem. Yeah. Like it's been built upon a lie. I kind of feel like the relationship, the big problem in the relationship might very well be trust issues, um and not necessarily like another person, but it's like the the trust issues have not been resolved, and it takes two people. It takes two people. The outcome of this energy is the Empress, which is divine it's like you're stepping into, like, I need to do something, I need to take action, I need to take charge, I need to step up to this challenge. But that's not what love is. Love is not a battle, love is not a fight, love is nurturing. Love is nurturing the same goal, and love is also receiving love unconditionally, not just giving it unconditionally. Your guidance in this is to use your energy wisely. I kind of feel like it's like if you want to see real growth, you have to get a better handle of the energy exchanges, of the interactions, of the give and take. I know that probably doesn't make sense. It's like you need to take your power back. It also, like, it doesn't, the connection itself does not feel very balanced at all. Like one person is taking complete and total accountability, one person is doing all the work, and the other person is doing nothing. You have to, regardless, like, you have to pull back how much you're putting in. It also feels like it kind of feels like a message, like, is this really what you want? like at the end of the day, is this really what you want, or has this just become a, a battle that you feel that you need to win? Is this something that is really making you happy? Also, like, what are the lengths that you're having to go through to get such little basic anything? Because what you're not seeing is you're getting what you're you're getting what you want, but you've been stuck in this intense push pull cycle for so long. You've been stuck in this like survival mode with this connection for so long. Again, I feel like it was like, it's very strong, like trauma bond energy. And so the connection itself was built on chaos, and what you're attached to in this connection is the chaos element, because it gives a little bit of a rush every once in a while. But as you heal and as you grow and as you evolve, that's not really what you want anymore. You don't want the fight anymore. You don't want the struggle anymore. You don't want the challenge anymore. But that also means you have to stop engaging in the challenge. It's like the loyalty and the commitment and the dedicated effort in this connection has been directed in the wrong way. It's been directed to somebody who isn't even in the space, that doesn't even have the capacity to give back to you everything that you are giving to them. And giving more to them is not not what is helping, because what the energy is going towards the problem and not the connection itself, or the interference and not the connection itself. I know that's not a pleasant reading at all, but this also feels like something that has been going on for a very, very long period of time, and something that you have already felt. So I don't feel like this is necessarily anything like new or shocking to you. I feel like there's a part of you that feels like this is what you're supposed to do, or you're supposed to stay loyal, or you're supposed to stay committed. And anything that is meant to be, that God wants in your life, it would not be because you suffered and had to humiliate yourself in the process, right? Love you guys.